Switch that V6 for the EV, ride it around my city. You should come ride with me, yeah. Feel me if you hear me sip water like a fish, sip box water to the gillies, yeah. This a new wave, this a takeover. Do it for the future, time to get a world a makeover. Time never stops, no the timing is not. Time to clean up the block. Streets been a mess, how can I breathe? Smoke in the air, pure gasoline. I see the news, see what you read. Change gotta come, put that on me and watch me educate. Yeah, we been, could've started, but it's never late. Do it for my kids, yeah, let's set it straight. Do it for your kids, gotta set it straight. It's time to regulate, we need change now. We need solar, we need EV in the game now. Make it changes so the earth we know can stay around. Make it changes cause we had no time for playing around. Let's quit the playing around. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, work as a team. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, we going green. New car goes zoom, but it's quiet. You can hear me come and think I'm lying. If I said I'm perfect, I'd be lying. I can't say I'm perfect, but I'm trying. I'ma give my all till I'm dying. I'm the new Captain Planet, here to make changes, not damage. World on my shoulders while I'm standing. I'm the new Captain Planet, here to make changes, not damage. World on my shoulders while I'm standing. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, work as a team. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, we going green. Ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you.
All right, guys, what is going on? So we still have about 9 minutes until the show starts. We can kind of see right here, and then we'll adjust the screen so we're there. But we're going to see firsthand what all the announcements look like. Now, there have been a bunch of leaks the past couple days on the new gen Ryzen CPUs, and those ones I'm assuming are probably pretty much 100% accurate based on price, specs, and stuff like that, because they probably already seen these slides or they're insiders or something. So we're going to go through some of that in a minute. Let's do a quick roll call here and see exactly what we got going on. But I'm going to go back into the main page here. All right, so I have a poll there. It looks like 59% of you, 57. A lot more of you guys are starting to say, nope, not excited about it. That's all right. So I can't see the top name. I think that might be, is that Floodweiser? I can't see. I have to end the poll, so I'll say the name after. We got Higgy, Red Putts, Spaceman, Well Talks, Ogre, MGTOW, myself, Rud Putts right there again. Oh, hold on. Floodweiser. Mine some, what's happening? In the crypto donkey mining voice. Sup, my fellow miners? I can't do it. I do not have the accent at all. Balls mining for people. What's going on? Ninja Kid, Dave Collins, Ben's 310, having McDonald's chicken nuggets and Burger King onion rings with the RabidMining live. Nice. That sounds good. That sounds really good. I wish Sinji was here because we're actually having homemade hamburgers made today. Hopefully we can save some for Saturday. They'll probably be rotten at that time, but they're being made. Let's see here. We got Jan Lipitsky, cool track. Thank you very much. Automatic Beats, Ben's 310, fish burger from Wendy's. Interesting. Yeah, it is very interesting. But I remember when I went to Vancouver once, if you're at a town that's close to the ocean, like everything has fish stuff. And then the farther you get away, you know, the harder it is to find. Dave Collins, no excitement here. Don't need new motherboard plus DDR5. Yeah, I'm not playing early adoption tax on these. Nope. Paxton, hi all. Ogre, MGTOW, Floodweiser again, Red Pots. So how is everybody doing today? So we're going to run through some quick specs and kind of things. So we're going to look at the 50X series. So the 3950, these are original. So here's the 3950Xs. You know, it's 16 core, 32, 3.5 of a base clock, up to 4.7 of a boost clock, 64 megabytes L3 cache and whatnot. The 5950X is actually 3.4 of a base. It's actually lower than the 3000 series, which is interesting, but it does get a little bit more on the boost end side of things. So here's some leaked specs, and I find these exciting actually. Look at the Ryzen 9 7950X, a base clock of 4.5. That's almost what our boost clock is currently in the 3 and 5000 series, slightly under, but the base is 4.5. Remember how I always say to run efficient, you don't need the boost, you run at the base. Can you imagine if we could run these things at 4.5 at maybe 1 volt, maybe slightly under? Now the TDP is actually up to 170 watts, way up from the 105 that these others are used to, but having a base clock that high might be pretty crazy. In the end, you know, in terms of running for efficiency, we'll probably be running the exact same clocks. Now, the L3 cache and everything looks the same as the 3 and the 5000 series. It's looking like $799 US. Now, unlike the 5000 series release, which was still on AM4, this is going to be on AM5, which means we need all new motherboards. The pins are now in the motherboard. They're like LGA sockets like we see with Intel CPUs. So we need new motherboards, which is all new tech again, X670s, whatever they call them. So that's going to have a premium price because it's brand new. We're going to need DDR5 memory. So that's brand new memory. So that's going to come at a high cost. So to actually upgrade or anything for this, it's going to be very expensive over the 3 and 5000 series that we've seen. We could probably build, you know, depending on pricing and everything in the used market, 3 rigs to the price of a single brand new one. But these specs do look interesting, but I do believe this 170 TDP. But then again, remember, this thing's going up to 5.7. This is the same reason why, you know, the 4000 series GPUs for NVIDIA are going to use so much power, is because it's for the gamers and all that boost clocking. Now, they may still be decent if we're not doing that as miners, we don't run into boost clocks. We're not boosting anything. We're running at our base clock or less, whether it's a GPU or a CPU. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these actually perform. I do expect probably XMR, Monero, and some of those Tizen, I believe, those dual channel, memory dependent, and core based speeds types of dependent algorithms will see some potential gains with these. I don't see any L2 catch here, so it's going to be kind of hard to see what's going on there, but it's going to be very interesting. We got about 4 more minutes, guys, until this does kick off. So look at these people are just spamming. I saw a lot of people earlier talking about, rumors say Intel will best AMD when they announce next month. Okay, remember, these are gamer guys talking. Intel's next gen is going to be garbage for mining still. They did not implement any L3 cache or anything, so keep that in mind. So let's just adjust this screen. I can't full screen it or anything yet. So we're going to have to wait until they actually start this before we look into anything. So let's go to the chat, see what you guys are talking about and what's going on. That's Fudweiser and the Magic Toads. And that was me looking to go to sleep early. It's 0051 here. Just some photos of them. Interesting. So yeah, I wonder how much it's going to cost. Like, I'm curious what DDR5 costs, if there's going to be different variants. Now, when they release the motherboards, it's probably going to be the high-end stuff first. So like this, if it's going by the same scheme, it's going to be the X670s. And then we'll see like the 650s and stuff like that come out later on, or whatever they end up calling them. Maybe it'll be the 870s. I don't know, because we know we have the 470s, which are a little better, versus the 570s. They use less power and stuff. And I think they're calling the, right off the get-go, them 670. So I don't know if they're going to use a different scheme, because they can't go down to 570s, because that's what the AM4s are, unless they go like 570 plus or something crazy like that. But that's going more into the Intel books, where they go, we're on our 14 nanometer to the plus power of 4000 type of CPU. So I don't think they're going to go to the pluses on anything, but we'll see what happens. Don't Mather Prize. It's time to update streaming rig and my gaming PC, isn't it? Don't Mather Prize. No, if you plan on updating, like, that's why I might try to justify it as, I'll just update my workstation. I probably wouldn't be building rigs with it. Obviously, I will mine off it, but I don't know, like, it's going to be expensive, so I probably can't afford it. You could probably find a used Epic CPU, for the same price to build out a brand new new tech, everything. Like, seriously, DDR5, X670, and the brand new CPU all coming in, like, it's gonna be costing a premium. So I don't know, it's probably gonna be like $3,000 to, in Canada. I don't know what it's gonna be in the States, because that $799 is probably gonna be about $1,200-1,300 Canadian just for the CPU. I'm already shaking my head. I can't do it. I did try to email AMD every single contact I could find, but they're busy people. They don't talk to miners. But as miners, we could, in theory, result to more sales than, those big guys like Linus and J2 Cents and stuff, who will obviously have this stuff, but they only look at gaming and boost clocks and, maybe some liquid nitrogen stuff, the cool stuff. But as miners, we don't really, all their reviews can be thrown out the window, because we don't care about all the stuff that they talk about. We use the CPU a totally different way than gamers and people actually do. And if they're good, we buy lots of them, right? We stack rigs up. We get a whole bunch of GPUs. We get a whole bunch of CPUs. So, it's a different scenario altogether, different world completely. Don't matter. Okay, yeah. The motherboards are 670E, 670, 650. What has leaked so far? Okay, interesting. All right, 670E. So what's 670E? That's like a lower grade version, I'm assuming. Is that like E for efficient or something? But it looks like we have... Oh, it's supposed to start any time now, guys. Put my headset on. Let's see what's happening here. What was that? Something happened. Oh, someone just subscribed. What's going on? Thank you for subscribing there, Twingy Twang. Didn't I see you subscribe before? E equals extreme. Oh, the big boys. Yeah, that's gonna be very pricey then. Yeah, I'm not going for any type of E extreme stuff. That's the top. Okay, that's the top of the line. Yeah, that's that would not be recommended for any type of mining. It's going to be a good year or two before we see, you know, decent prices on any of these, depending. And remember, if Intel's going to announce their stuff, and now the whole gamers fights, if they actually are still ahead of Intel, which I expect they probably will be, but, you know, then they're first place. They can keep the prices high. Oh, here we go, guys. Here we go. Here we go. How's the volume? Let me know how the volume is to the voice. Do you want a little more on the stream side? Let's go full screen. There we go. Now we can see it all. I hope this isn't copywritten music. Sounds okay. Levels are good. All right. Good. Good. All right. Let's get going. "22 seconds. They said the AM5 platform will be supported for the next 6 to 8 years. Well, that's good. So they're going to be doing a couple gens on AM5. So that's a good thing. We'll see all the way up to the 10,000 series then on AM5, or 12,000. 4, 5, 6, 8. Oh, that's actually way more than that. It's like 14,000 or something. Cautionary statement. What did it say? Don't stream this or something? I hope not. Okay, yeah. We see it. We see it. All done on Ryzen. Intel can't do this. Can they? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. I know there's Intel people out there. Upgrade for refurbish 8000 series. All right, let's see our announcements. Anything we looked at 100% confirmed. We'll find out. Doctor. Oh, Sue's a doctor. Hey, Benz.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you all for joining us today. It is so good to have so many of you here with us in Austin. This is our first live product launch in a couple of years. And
AMD is?
also welcome to all
Okay.
of you who are joining us online. We have some great new products to show you today.
How's that?
So, you know, at AMD, we're all about
Better?
high performance and adaptive computing, and using our technology to create solutions that solve the world's most challenging problems. And from cloud services to 5G networks to AI to automotive, PCs, and much, much more, you know, we're really touching everyone in terms of touching billions of people every single day. Now, today marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter for AMD. Over the next several quarters, we're going to introduce 4 new architectures to the market, and that's across more than a dozen products. So it's really just an incredible pace of innovation. It's more than we've ever done before. And we're going to start today with our new ZEN4 core that spans from high-end servers to desktop PCs to notebook PCs. We're going to also talk a little bit about our upcoming RDNA 3 gaming graphics architecture, which will bring another significant increase in performance and performance per watt for the most demanding gamers.
Oh, we got GPUs
and our
happening
ZEN4
too.
C core, that's optimized for cloud native computing, as well as our next gen AMD XDNA architecture that we're also all looking great and on track to launch in 2023. Now, at AMD, we love the PC, and we especially love all of the PC gamers and enthusiasts around the world who push us to continue to build the best possible for CPUs and GPUs. We've been focused on delivering just outstanding experiences with our combination of hardware and software. And we're partnered with the world's top OEMs to deliver innovative new form factors and new system designs.
Miners too.
So today is all about our next generation of Ryzen processors that will push the envelope for gamers, creators, and enthusiasts.
Here we go.
So let's go ahead and get
Enthusiasts.
started.
That's us. Miners are enthusiasts.
Now, for our next generation Ryzen CPUs, we set very ambitious goals. You know that about AMD. We wanted to make the Ryzen 7000 series the fastest CPU for gamers while delivering the most compute for creators. We focused on a new CPU core design that combines both leadership performance and leadership energy efficiency. And we also wanted to take a big step forward with an all-new desktop platform that scales into the future. So to deliver on all
Efficiency
these
is
goals,
key.
the Ryzen 7000 series is the first 5-nanometer CPU for desktop PCs. Ryzen 7000 is both extremely performant and also extremely power efficient. And it has an all-new AM5 platform that supports the latest I/O and memory technologies, including PCIe Gen 5 as well as DDR5. So it all starts with our new ZEN4 core. Our designers have done it again. We've exceeded our performance goals for ZEN4, and that allows us to deliver leadership core performance. Now, earlier this year, we estimated that ZEN4 would deliver an 8 to 10% uplift in IPC compared to ZEN3. And I'm extremely excited to say today that as we optimize the product for production, we now see 13% more IPC in desktop applications. Now, we also designed
13%.
ZEN4 for high clock speed. So from a frequency standpoint, we've increased the frequency at the top of the stack to 5.7 gigahertz. That's 800 megahertz higher than we did in Ryzen 5000. And as a result, Ryzen 7000 single-threaded performance is up 29% higher compared to Ryzen 5000.
Remember, we don't
These
care
are
about
just
single-thread
huge
performance, guys.
increases, and I'm extremely proud of what the team was able to deliver. Now let's look at our top-of-stack Ryzen 9 7950X. We have 16 cores, 32 threads, up to 5.7 gigahertz boost, an 80 megabyte cache, and 170 watt TDP envelope. The 7950X is simply going to be the best CPU for gamers and for creators.
80
So
megabytes
let's take a look at some of the
but how's that
performance.
split
If you look
up?
at the performance in 1080p gaming compared to the 5950X, the 7950X delivers on average 15% more performance across a range of popular games. And that comes from the single-threaded performance increases. Now, for creators, the combination of our ZEN4 core and our AM5 platform delivers on average more than 40% compared to the 5950X. And that's where you really see the content creation capabilities come alive. Now, let's compare to the competition. You can see that the Ryzen 7950X is the fastest CPU in the world. In 1080p gaming, the 7950X is faster than the competition across a wide range of games. And for creators, the 7950X delivers up to 62% more compute performance. So let's take a look at the 7950X actually in action.
No, we got
Here,
to check
what
out
we're
some
showing
action.
is a time-lapse demo of the popular 3D modeling and simulation software V-Ray running a built-in gaming benchmark, rendering benchmark. And on the right side is the 7950X, and the left is the competition. As the demo completes, we see that the 7950X scores over 30,000. That's 62% higher than the competition. Now, this is a tremendous increase of performance for creators, enabling them to spend more time creating and less time waiting for their images to render. But there's another very important thing about this demo.
That'd be hilarious.
Not only does the 7950X deliver 62% higher performance, it achieves this performance at 47% better performance per watt. That's 47% better performance per watt.
Hash to watt ratios,
so that
guys.
leadership performance and energy efficiency really highlights why we're so excited for gamers, enthusiasts, and creators to really get their hands on our new Ryzen 7000 CPUs and AM5 platform. Now, in addition to the 7950X, we're also announcing 3 more Ryzen 7000 processors today, ranging from the 12-core 7900X to our 8-core and 6-core 7700X and 7600X. And these will all bring the leadership performance of ZEN4 across all price points. Now, in fact, if you look across this stack, what you see is that all 4 of our new Ryzen 7000 CPUs deliver faster single-thread performance in Geekbench than the competition. And as everyone knows, faster single-thread performance is great for gaming. So let's take a look at our mainstream 7600X and how that compares to the competition. Here you can see the Ryzen 7600X on the right and the competition on the left, both running F1 2022. And while you see smooth gameplay in both cases, the 7600X consistently delivers significantly higher frames per second. In fact, by the end of the benchmark, what you'll see is that the 7600X is actually 11% faster. That's our
GPU
mainstream price point against the competition's best.
They didn't show
Now,
CPU
if you look across
uses.
a
I
broader
found
set
that
of
kind of
games,
interesting.
the mainstream
How much of the
7600X
CPU
delivers
is
on
being
average
used to
5%
produce all
faster
that?
gaming performance. And that's really, when you look at it, just an incredible capability at our mainstream price point. So hopefully you can now see why we're so excited about Zen4 and how it really is the fastest core in the world for gamers. Now, to tell you a bit more about the leadership Zen4 core design, let me bring AMD CTO Mark Papermaster to the stage. Mark?
How they charge CPUs.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, it was a decade ago that we launched the design effort of our first Zen processor, starting the whole Zen family. And we set a goal to return AMD to sustained high-performance CPU delivery. In each new CPU generation, we've launched first with our Ryzen desktop, where our gaming and content creation customers really thrive on performance. He
looks a little bit like a puppet master.
When Zen4 debuted in 2017, it just disrupted the industry with the significant IPC, performance, and energy gains that we were able to deliver. Zen2, really brought with 7 nanometer an incredible compute efficiency.
Here comes your marketing
and then
guy,
Zen3,
the paper.
with its grounds up new architecture, delivering impressive high performance leadership. And now I could not be more excited.
He does look angry. You're right there. I gotcha.
Our new generation of Zen for Ryzen desktop products.
He's taking in a breath every 3 seconds, trying to calm down.
New CPU performance that delivers high performance right on schedule. The result gives desktop users the generational high performance they need and have come to expect from AMD Ryzen CPUs. Our on-schedule high-performance delivery has enabled AMD to become a trusted supplier to our customers, and Zen4 delivers again. Let me spend the next few minutes just walking you through a little bit more of the detail about how Zen4 delivers that performance, leveraging both design improvements and the 5 nanometer leading-edge technology node. We have several architecture and technology improvements compared to Zen3.
Said node, did you hear that?
I'm pleased to share that Zen4 brings a significant instruction per clock uplift, 13%. We've added a new front-end design to better feed our execution pipes. For machine learning and high computation workloads, we have expanded our x86 instruction support to include AVX 512. And lastly, we leveraged the most cutting-edge process node along with AMD design efficiencies to bring these significant performance and energy efficiency gains. Look, let's start with always the first measure of a new CPU microarchitecture, because it's always starts with how efficiently a processor can get the job done at each clock tick. That's IPC, instruction per clock. You know, I'm often asked if we used up all the tricks in the book for CPU performance, or is there still levers at the ready for our ongoing roadmap? And you all know the answer. At AMD, we thrive on innovation, and you see that persist in each generation delivery across our Zen roadmap. Zen4 brings a GeoMean of 13% instruction per clock improvement using typical desktop applications. And let's break that down.
Mining,
this
Monero,
13% improvement
Ghost Rider
versus Zen3 is a GeoMean. So we are looking at 22 representative workloads across gaming, content creation, and computational benchmarks that we show here. And as we did in the transition from Zen2 to Zen3, we felt it was important to show you a really holistic view of how the desktop workloads respond to the changes we've made in the core. I'm also pleased to show that many of the gaming workloads really demonstrate a disproportionately larger set of gains in Zen4, and that, again, corresponds to the design changes we made. Our cumulative IPC improvement over that Zen era, over that 4 generations, demonstrates our relentless focus on core performance, because it's delivered a 235% IPC gain over that period. our focus on core performance is simply relentless. ZEN4 is a derivative of ZEN3, so we targeted, of course, enhancing on that base of ZEN3, building on the success. With ZEN3, we increased the execution width, and so at ZEN4 it became important for us to work on how we feed the instructions even faster into the machine. And that's why you see most of the improvements coming from the front end and branch prediction. Really, that makes up almost 60% of that IPC gain, increasing the capability of more instructions per cycle. We grew the op cache over 1.5x to increase the hit rate and deliver more ops per cycle. The load store has improvements, and a larger L2, a doubling of the L2, provide critical data faster.
There's more L2, guys.
13%
we
IPC.
could see some increased hash rates.
So AMD has also long supported the advanced vector extensions in x86.
7950X,
and in ZEN4,
17 to 20,000
support for AVX
hashes, 1720 kilohash.
When going to such a wide vector width, we took very careful design consideration to avoid impacting the performance when you have that high switching activity of those wide vectors. So what we did with ZEN4 is we implemented using a double
that's right. There is probably going to be a lot of issues
data width
with,
and that
who knows,
is really
drivers
designed
crashing also at first,
in such a way that you avoid large frequency fluctuations when you have such switching activity with 512-bit workloads being executed. Using AVX 512, we see up to a 1.3x improvement of 32-bit precision floating point inferencing operations. And that's versus, of course, our previous ZEN3 generation. And with this kind of capability, we can target heavy lifting HPC workloads as well, like molecular simulation, ray tracing, physics simulators, and the like. As part of adding support for AVX 512 implementation, we added extensions for convolutional neural nets with the vector neural net instructions, VNNI. In desktop applications, the Ryzen 7000 series with VNNI support and the INT8 approximate math format delivers a 2.5x improvement over Ryzen 5000 series CPUs. It's a huge speed up for applications like image processing and natural language processing. Now let's take a look at the overall performance and performance per watt gains. Our decades-long relationship with TSMC and our EDA partners continues with 5 nanometer. We operate in a deep design technology co-optimization partnership that really synergistically makes certain that the design and the process changes work harmoniously together to deliver performance and efficiency gains, and that they're highly manufacturable. In ZEN4, the result was a specialized N5 HPC process that enabled additional frequency beyond the baseline process.
Faith, I'm not sure, but the 3900X can hit about 15,200 hashes. Why? Maybe the 79 could hit 17 to 20, or 7950. We could see maybe 20 plus kilohash. It could be kind of insane. That is quite a bit, but it does come down to the power that it actually uses. Are these actually going to be efficient? The TDP is higher, but it'll be very interesting to find out. A 15-layer
telescoping metal stack has been co-optimized to deliver both high frequency and high density routing capability. The partnership around design and process delivers leadership efficiency for ZEN4. We continue our commitments to energy efficiency and high performance with every generation. The technology improvements include a 20% reduction in device capacitance, along with design improvements. Really,
yes, Dave Collins, I think you'd definitely be set for a while.
ZEN4 and desktop socket brings a 62% lower power at the same performance, or 49% more performance at the same power compared to ZEN3.
Lenther, all my CPUs are AMD.
To high performance with sustainability, reducing the environmental impact of our high performance processors. And this is quickly becoming a rising criteria.
No, I do not have any Threadrippers or Epics. I wish I did.
The impact of ZEN4 and Ryzen 7000 series is fully evident in the performance gains They look at the same across the TDP range here. The leadership in 5 technology is a part of the reason we can deliver such huge gains. And of course, it's amplified by the IPC gains. And look at the 65-watt TDP. That's where N5 shines. We've really been able to deliver those IPC gains without compromising on power. Tremendous advantage. We've doubled down on our implementation efficiency, getting to a finer grain level of power optimization than ever before.
I don't know. I have no idea what the motherboard price will be. Hopefully they'll announce all that through this, but yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to be expensive for everything.
The N5 is in its sweet spot. This means we deliver compelling performance at low TDP, incentivizing customers to save power and take advantage of efficient, cool, and quiet systems for leading-edge performance. 5 years ago, when we announced the first generation of Zen, I showed you that we were advantaged in area and power versus our competitors' x86 CPU. Well, we continue. In fact, we've grown that advantage. The AMD ZEN4 core plus L2 complex is about 50% smaller than the competition. That's a choice. We chose to optimize both high performance and power efficiency. Rather than just throwing power and area at the problem, we've been able at AMD to achieve a balance of high frequency design that is power efficient using our methodology and our technology application. The end result is a...
I want to pause that for a second. I think they're throwing a jab at NVIDIA during that. So I did see a rumor a while back when AMD was coming out with this and they were tweaking everything on the way they're doing their next gen GPUs. And I saw something that NVIDIA found out what they were kind of doing. But instead of tweaking it, that's why they're going to use so much power. So instead of tweaking their cores and stuff like this guy just kind of mentioned here, they're taking their GPUs and just boosting the crap out of it to try and make up that, that increase in performance, and which is why we're going to see extremely high power consumption on the 4000 series GPUs. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, but I was reading a lot of things that AMD came out with the next gen GPU stuff first, and NVIDIA was like falling behind, and they're like, okay, we're boosting everything up, let's go, and we don't care what the power type of thing is. So I think that's what this guy's kind of doing, is poking a jab at NVIDIA right now, but I can't guarantee that.
Leadership CPU with significantly better performance per watt of energy expended in a much smaller area. Going forward, we continue our focused execution on x86 CPU roadmap. We plan on releasing the Ryzen 7000 series desktop processors with 3D V-cache in the future, and that's great for memory intensive workloads.
In the future, that's when we'll be able to utilize Haven. They still have another
our
gen
Zen
with the
4C,
3D V-cache.
it's a compact density
later.
That's an addition. It's a new swim lane to our cores roadmap, and it delivers the identical functionality of Zen 4 at about half of the core area. And that'll be coming out in the first half of 2023 in our server lineup. This core is workload optimized for applications that don't need to run at the highest frequency and can deliver even more computational efficiency. I'm also glad to share that we remain on track for Zen 5, featuring a new grounds-up core for 2024. Zen 5 will bring a combination of performance gains as well as further optimizations for the growing AI workloads. It's full speed ahead for our CPU innovations. Well, look, AMD is simply delivering with relentless focus on our Zen CPU roadmap, consistently on schedule and to our performance goals. Zen 4 is another testament to AMD R&D execution excellence. We remain focused on being the trusted partner for our customers, and our next generation of designs are well underway. With 5 nanometer process technology and design optimization, Zen 4 delivers. In desktop applications, it will not only bring performance leadership, but deliver that performance at a fraction of the power consumption of the competition. And I'll repeat a phrase I've said many times over the years. There will be no let-up in AMD innovation. Zen 4 and Ryzen 7000 series is a shining example of high-performance leadership delivered with an energy efficiency that our society wants and simply requires going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'd like to introduce David
fraction of
McAfee,
the
who will come
price.
on stage here and share with us more detail about the AM5 platform.
Tell us about it. What about the motherboards? Yeah, PCI lanes, that's a good question too. We'll have to ask that. It'd be very interesting to see the lanes.
Thanks, everyone. I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into the platform that surrounds all of the innovation that Mark just talked about. Let's start by taking a look back for a moment on the AM4 platform and reflecting on what an incredible feat of engineering it represents. First introduced in September of 2016, and now nearly 6 years later, it's still going strong. With AM4, we made a promise to maintain a stable platform which gave users the confidence that they could buy today and upgrade their system over time.
Yeah,
while keeping the platform
it's going to cost more
consistent,
for
we
sure,
drove incredible
but they do have that
innovation into
extra
the socket.
L2 cache and stuff.
Innovation
so
like 5 different
it will be
CPU
interesting to
architectures
see.
across 4
It should
process
hash,
nodes,
you know, a little
leading
bit
the
better
market with next
because of
generation
it, but
I/O
again, we
capabilities
won't know,
like PCI-4
and we don't know what clocks to run
and
at.
industry-first advances like chiplet architecture and 3DV cache. Now, with over 125 processor models introduced and more than 500 motherboards, AM4 has transformed the expectations of desktop enthusiasts. As we turn our focus to the next generation of Ryzen desktops, our goal of creating a platform that grows with you remains consistent. Beginning with the 7000 series processors, powered by the industry-leading ZEN4 core, the AM5 platform brings a new level of capabilities built ready for the future. It all starts with a new 17-18-pin LGA socket designed to handle the next generation high-speed IOs while making installation easier for the end user. We've expanded the socket power delivery to 230 watts to allow our ZEN4 processors to unlock the maximum all-core performance in the most demanding creator and gaming workloads, while still delivering clear leadership in performance per watt and power
24
efficiency.
GPU rigs.
AM5 is a platform that's built for the future, with next-generation technologies like DDR5
Works
and
with AM4 coolers
to ensure that your build today
don't need to upgrade your
meets
cooler
your growing
at least,
needs
unless,
for
like
years
you said,
to
they're
come.
on fire.
And we've also designed a platform to leverage the best of our existing ecosystem, maintaining compatibility between today's diverse selection of AM4 coolers and our next generation AM5 platform. Every PC build is unique, and as we launch into AM5, we wanted to create a broad range of choices to best meet every user's needs.
All right, let's see here.
As we go into AM5, we'll offer 2 classes of motherboards, the X series and the B series. The X series boards, which will be available in September, are built to be uncompromised.
Next month.
With the highest power delivery and overclocking headroom across CPU and memory, along with the most I/O across the board. While every X series board will offer PCI-5 storage, X670 Extreme boards will enable PCI-5 to graphics as well as storage slots on the board. We're also announcing our B series boards available in October, which strike the balance between enabling next generation technologies and great value for the end user.
So the B
like
series,
the X
would be what we would
B
want
series
for the
Extreme
mining.
boards, which offer
We gotta
similar
wait a month.
capabilities with PCI-5 graphics and storage. Now, speaking of PCI-5 for a minute, let's talk about one of the first technologies coming to market in this cutting-edge I/O technology. PCI-5 doubles the bandwidth for each lane on the board, unlocking the capability to drive substantially higher read and write performance and faster access when working with large and complex files. Starting in November of this year, PCI-5 storage devices will be available from a wide range of partners around the globe. One of the other key design decisions in our AM5 platform was memory selection. And here we wanted to design a platform not just for today, but one that's built for tomorrow. And that's why DDR5 is the memory solution on our AM5 platform. DDR4 memory has been a great technology choice for gamers and creators for the past 5+ years. But it's also a technology which has reached the end of its evolution. First released in 2020, DDR5 picks up where DDR4 ends. With higher data rates to drive more bandwidth, the ability to deliver
800.
very low memory latency, and a roadmap to quadruple or more capacity per DIMM. It's clear that DDR5 is the right choice today and one that is built for the future as the technology continues to
Wonder
mature
what their latency
over
is on
time.
it though.
Now, we know that Ryzen enthusiasts love to overclock their memory to ensure they're getting the fastest data rates and the lowest memory latency to maximize game performance.
This guy's wrong.
And that's why the AM5 platform is
Burns
also
too much
being
power.
introduced with AMD Expo technology, or extended profiles for overclocking. Expo DIMMs enable one-click DDR5 overclocking for Ryzen AM5 builds, driving up to 11% faster gaming performance, lower latency down to 63 nanoseconds, and built on a standard that
it
provides
does matter
clear and
for
open
some coins.
specifications
DDR5
to the end
will
user, so they
probably
know
see
exactly what
boosts,
they're
another
getting
boost
when they
to
buy an Expo
XMR.
memory
We may
kit.
see 24 kilohash
As we launch into
on
AM5, we
XMR with one
expect
of
to
these.
see
I don't know
over
yet.
15
That might be way too
Expo
much,
memory
but
kits in market at
XMR and a
launch,
lot of those things love
offered
dual
by the
channel. They
leading
love memory
partners
speeds
in
and they love low
high-performance memory
latency RAM.
overclocking
So,
and pushing the limits of
add that onto the
DDR5
extra L2
up to
as well as the
6,400 data
speed of
rates,
the
even as we
CPU.
first entered the market.
Some coins will probably see some
AM5
nice
is
gains,
the
but
next
still, it's
generation
hard
of
to say.
Ryzen,
But
and
this
it's a
is
platform that we
sounding
built for the
pretty sweet.
future. This year, we expect to see motherboards in market starting from $125
I'm pretty excited for this
to offer
one,
an
actually.
incredibly wide range of price points.
It's a lot
to meet every
bigger of a
system
jump
build
up
needs.
than the 5000
We built the
series
platform
was from the
around
3.
next generation
We should
technologies
see
so that you can
hash
build
rate
today
increases here.
and upgrade as your needs grow over time. And just like AM4, we're making a commitment to support the AM5 platform with new technologies and next generation architectures through at least 2025. I'm really
I'll
excited.
turn down
about
the volume a
next
bit.
era of
Yeah,
Ryzen
that's what I'm
desktops
wondering. The
with
CL
AM5.
numbers of the
Now, let me bring
RAM.
Lisa back
Are
up
they
on
high,
stage
like
to recap
18s,
today's
20s? Like, are we going to have any CL14s, 8 nanosecond stuff with this? But I don't know. That's the question. Oh, here's our doctor again.
All right. So thank you, David. We are so proud of what Ryzen 7000 CPUs are delivering on all of our ambitious goals. If you look at it, Ryzen 7000 delivers 11% faster single-threaded performance, 44% higher multi-threaded performance, and 47% more performance per watt than the competition. Now that you've seen everything that Ryzen 7000 series can do, I know you're all wondering about price and availability.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Paper. Paper.
Okay, starting at the top of the stack, the 16-core 7950X is $699. The 12-core
Halt. Halt that.
7900X is $549.
Stop, Lisa. What did we just see here? $799. So based on the leak that we saw earlier, we're already $100 less USD than what we saw. So that's actually kind of exciting. Okay, right on. $699. So in Canada, that'll be about $1,100 or something.
The 8-core is $399, and the 6-core 7600X is priced at $299. And all 4 of these will be on shelf worldwide on September 27th.
September 27th. End of September. There'll be one CPU in every store. And then they'll double in price.
I mentioned earlier that it's a very exciting time for AMD as we bring 4 new architectures to market over the coming quarters. And while today was all about Ryzen 7000, of course we know gamers are always interested in what's coming next. So for all the gamers out there, I'm very excited that we have one more update for you today. This is our next generation Radeon graphics card powered by our all new RDNA 3 architecture. It's very pretty. By combining our most advanced gaming architecture with 5-nanometer chiplets, RDNA 3 GPUs will deliver more than 50% more performance per watt than our current generation Radeon GPUs.
What's that mean
and
for
it's currently
Ergo?
running in our labs.
Oh no. What's going on? No. Stream died.
By combining our most advanced gaming architecture with 5-nanometer chiplets, RDNA 3 GPUs will deliver more than 50% more performance per watt than our current generation Radeon GPUs. And it's currently running in our labs. The performance looks absolutely wonderful. And so for the first time ever, let's take a look at RDNA 3 in action with the Ryzen 9 7950X.
Oh, let's have a look, guys.
So what you're seeing here is the highly anticipated title Lies of P from our friends at NeoWiz. This game was a breakout hit at Gamescom earlier this month based on its incredible visuals and gameplay. And what you're seeing is 4K gameplay at ultra settings running on a pre-production RDNA 3 GPU. Just take a look at it a bit. It looks absolutely wonderful, doesn't it?
Reminded us in their labs.
Now, we are feeling great about how RDNA 3 looks in the labs, and I can't wait to tell you more about it when we launch later this year. So let me wrap up here and say that we're so excited that you could join us today. Ryzen 7000 series is absolutely the world's first desktop processor in 5 nanometer. With the ZEN4 core, it's the fastest processor in the world for gaming and content creation. And with our new AM5 platform, it really brings the latest technologies for I/O and memory. It also brings our commitment for multi-year processor roadmap support and support through 2025 and beyond. So thank you to all the members of the press from around the world for joining us here in Austin today. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you who joined us online. It's been so much fun sharing with you how AMD and our partners continue to advance the PC experience. Thank you.
There we go. So interesting. Let's kind of rewind that to where they showed. Okay, here's something on the RAM. DDR5 4800, 5200. So what is this timeline here? Is this like overclocked and this is regular? Not sure what's going on this situation, but yeah, it's very interesting. We need to know what the CL numbers are in terms of their latency and everything, because CL14 RAM, you can get it in 8 nanosecond, 8.25, 13 and 11 or something. And when it comes to like those coins that require the RAM and the dual channels and everything, like XMR, your Ryzen, I'm not sure the other ones out there, but there's a few of them that do require RAM, and RAM does play a big factor in the hash rates. What is the latency on these things? Because that's what matters here. But more L2 catch, all that integration, the 512, we could actually see hash rate increases on these CPUs over the previous gen, but it's still going to be very expensive to update to these, because it is the new motherboard and the B series isn't coming. So everything's dropping in September by the sounds of things. It's going to be the most expensive motherboards, everything off the get-go. So I don't know if you're going to buy a CPU, wait a month, then get a B series or something like that. But, interesting times. And in the end of the day, they might also not be worth overclocking to their new base clocks here. So where is this again? So look at that, 4.5 though on the base clock. That's insane. That is almost as high as the current gen's boost clock. It's like 200, 300 megahertz, 400 megahertz less than the boost clock. But this is the base clock here that can go up to 5.7. I always say when you're a CPU miner, this is the number you care about, this base clock, because that's when you're running into those efficient numbers. Now the TDP did increase up to 170, so running it at this might not be optimal, but we don't know until we get our hands on things. But I'm actually pretty excited about this gen over the 5000. 5000 I wasn't really excited about. 3000 series still outperform them in some mining coins and whatnot, and sometimes the 5000 does as well. It all depends what you're mining, but this does look like it's actually going to be an increase here across the board, but we won't know until we can actually tweak these, figure out what kind of clock speeds, voltages to run, and where those efficient numbers lie. But it's looking exciting right now. It could just be a quick pump, AMD pumping up their stuff, and really it might not be that great, but it's very interesting. Mining for people, I will keep you updated. We'll be fast out here. All right, no problem. They're going to sell it faster. They'll probably, it's hard to say. Obviously, it's not a demand like the GPUs were, but at the same time, it's new. A lot of people could be getting into it. It's going to be hard to tell what stock levels and everything are actually going to be like. So, yeah, interesting. Balls, do you need my address? If you get a couple, you can send one my way. Check out the cache difference from the 7700 to the 79. Where is it? Let's go back into this. So, like we said, this wasn't 100% accurate. This was saying $799. We said they showed $699. So this is already $100 off on the 7950X. But cache difference, where we got here? 80, 76, 40. The 7700X only has 40. But yeah, this is 8 and 16. 32. That's still all right though. For the 7700 though, you're still at 16 threads, 8 core. That's all you need is the 32 megabytes of L3. Hopefully, yeah, that's the L3, the 32 plus the 8 on the L2. That's interesting. That L2 is 8. I believe it previously one is what, like 4 or 2 or something on the 30, on the 57s and stuff. So this is quite a bit. So we may see hash rates, but the 32 will still utilize all 16 threads here on the Ghost Rider algorithms and whatnot. We're still lacking for Haven. We're only going to be utilizing half of our CPUs on like on XHV Haven here protocol on these, but that's okay. If we get a nice boost on everything else, that's fine. But the L3 cache is still the same. Intel still didn't put any in, but we got 16 here. I don't know, crazy. I do with the L2 cache and everything. It's going to be an interesting. If 5900X produced 15 kilohash, and if we calculate 5900X times 4.5, 15, the other plus 18 kilohash equals 7950X. That's a good number. We should write that down. 18 kilohash is what you're estimating. That could be very close numbers. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the 3900X though, when I did get 15,200, it was not running efficient. We got it to 15,200 hashes. It was CL14 Flare RAM, the 8.12 or whatever nanosecond low latency RAM. And I was using Ryzen clock tuner as well as DRAM calculator to do that and to boost it up to optimize the performance of that. And it was using like 200 and some watts on a 3900X full system to do that. Now, when we finally did some tweaking and we dropped the clocks down and everything, no XMP, not RAM dependent. Well, it's still RAM dependent, dual channel, but not overclocking any RAM or anything. We were down to about 12,600 or so, but we're only using 109 watts for like little over 2,200 of a hash drop or something. But you almost double the power savings here with very minimal hash rate drop. This is where it'll be interesting to see how these do perform in a hash to watt ratio. But I am really excited for these, but it's going to be very expensive, and I don't think I'll be able to afford, especially on day one of any of these things. But we'll see what happens as the time comes. Crazy. Why did the X3D not do any better on RTM? If anything, because it had the same L2 cache and everything. All the X3D did have was the ability of a lot more L3 cache, which does help in gaming and some single thread performance, which they deliver to. But for mining, all that L3 cache does is to utilize all the threads. So Haven, for example, I bring this coin up a lot because it's one of the largest L3 cache coins. I believe it's the biggest one. It uses 4 megabytes per thread. So that 5800X3D being an 8-core, 16-thread CPU was able to utilize all 16 threads on it, where 3900, 3950, 5950X was still only utilizing 16 threads. So on the higher ends, half the CPU because of the 64 megabytes of L3 cache. It did not increase the performance. We did notice based on, I didn't have the CPU myself, but I had someone test out hash rates on it and send it to me. And the 3900X was actually hashing per thread more than the 5800X3D because it did have more L2 cache on that CPU. So it was actually losing a little bit of performance while mining on that 58X3D. So that's where we're seeing the L2 cache gains and everything here on this next gen. We may see a little more hashes per thread on these CPUs as well, which would give them that increased hash rate as a total. It's going to be very, plus the increased boost clocks and everything. So yeah, our base clocks, I mean. So again, depending how you run them, if we can get, imagine if we could get 1 volt or less at the full 4.5, that would be insane. To get 4.5 or something right now out of the 3900s, 59s, so we're running like 1.2, 1.3 volts and stuff, and you're burning up a lot of power. So if we can do that at 1 volt or less, that's going to be very efficient. So it's going to be very interesting here. I'm really psyched up for these, but keep in mind, they might not get performance. We may still have to run them at the same 3.7, 3.6, same types of voltages, and we'll get the same amount of power and hash rates because of it. But it's too early to tell. We're going to have to definitely see some numbers and stuff out there. But initially, they are looking good. But we can't really go past that. It's right now, it's just an initial hype, and that's about it. That's where it stops. Epic will be epic. The cost basis, it's never worth it for mining. They're super impressive, though. That's for sure. The Epics cost so much. At the same time, they just said they were talking about their server grade stuff early next year. Maybe if large data centers start upgrading to that, we may see some more Epics hit a used market and bring prices down. But even then, like, yeah, they're expensive. They're very expensive. Non-CPU question. Safe OP temp for mem junction on 6x memory for long-term mining on 3080 Ti. Well, is it throttling? My 3090, it runs 110 degrees. I did not change any thermal pads. It's not throttling, but it's been running 110 degrees since release date on the Founders Edition. So it's still doing good. It could die any day. It doesn't mean it won't, but it's still doing good. I don't know. You should try to run it as cool as you possibly can, but mine's still running just fine, and it doesn't throttle at 110. Now, once the core gets another degree or two hotter on the hot days, it will begin to throttle a bit, and then there's nothing I can do about that. Obviously, then change out the thermal pads, but you should probably keep it under 90 if you have a choice. But mine's all good. Have you seen Linus' new water-cooled server video? No, I have not seen it. Is it crazy? You're at 102 to 105 on the 3080 Ti at 118 megahash. Interesting. You know what? I'm not sure where. I'm doing about 124 on the 3090, 124 point something megahash, 109, 110 on the memory, 49 to 50 on the core. Once the core hits 51, 52, it does begin to throttle though. On 6x memory, how? Oh, I strive for 86C. Everyone wants to know your trick there, Pearl. Is it copper modded? Have you tried the copper mod? No, I have not tried any copper mods. I've heard a lot of horror stories about them, and a lot of GPUs are cracking and blowing up with the copper mods, and they're fairly new, so I expect a lot more reports will start coming out as it happens. Again, it could just be installation errors, you know, because they don't really fit 100%, or maybe someone got the wrong size and they're squishing it in there and it's causing pressure in certain points or something. I don't know. I've never used it. I probably never will. Memory pads are pretty much just as good, and they're like half the price. So I just go that route instead. Isn't scalable. Oh yeah, and yeah, plus changing everything around. If you have thousands of GPUs, you're probably gonna want to get GPUs where you don't have to do that, because like I said, it isn't scalable. Like going around doing it all the time, plus the extra costs involved. That's the one thing. Like everyone does all this stuff. You put in all these fans. You got to remember, like, your fans cost more money. So you're adding on to ROIs. You're using more power. All these things add up in prices, but no one seems to say, you know, okay, I ROI'd my GPU, but did you actually? Did you calculate all this stuff and all this other stuff and whatever else you did? Probably not. But again, if you've been mining for a couple of years, you did ROI those GPUs, but you know where I'm kind of going with it, though. I'm pretty sure a lot of people forget about these added extra costs to do all these other things. The other algos, not near as hard on memory times. Just wait a few weeks. Yeah, that's 100% sure that correct there. Like ETC, same overclocks and memory intensive, but you're probably not going to be pointing your GPUs on ETC, because it's going to have all the Jazz miners and everything on, and E9s and ASICs. That's what's going to be controlling ETC until it sees some big price gains. Ergo, it's little memory intensive as well, but at the same time, it uses a lot less power. So you don't have that heat and stuff there. Flux and Raven and everything else, it's more on the core intensive side. So you don't have to worry about your memory. So really, Ethereum is all you really have to worry about when it comes to that. So if you're on the fence right now about copper modding or something, don't worry about it. Forget about it. You're not going to need it wait until ETH is gone and you'll just be mining something else that won't be so hot on your memory in the first place. You have ETC ASICs? Awesome. Yes, I got a couple ETC ASICs. I'm definitely hoping ETC pumps. I don't know if it will or not. I do think it has a good chance to see some nice price gains and absorb a lot of miners and stuff, but it's too early to tell what's going to happen everywhere. But Patrick Guyan, all of the copper plates are 2mm, and maybe that fits 80% of the cars. There's always some pieces to trim from the plates to fit well. Need to buffer extra pace on memory chips. Okay, so they're all the same size. I wasn't aware of that. So that's interesting. So that could be, yeah, some people's issues, not trimming anything or something. Again, that comes down to installation errors. Makes a lot of sense. A copper mod, yeah, exactly. Copper mod's like $60, where you can get memory pads like half the price, maybe even 75% of the price, depending where you get them. Is that light fan modded L3 still alive? Did it die from the heat? No, it was 100% good. I actually ended up shutting it off a little while back because of it wasn't profitable anymore. The market started turning, so it wasn't running. But yeah, it's working 100% still, and it still has those fans on it. So great. We're all doomed, dear. Craziness. All right, guys, but I do have to go eat supper and stuff. It was nice to, watch this with all you guys and kind of go over some ideas. We'll talk about this some other time, maybe on the next Saturday stream or something. But yeah, I'm very excited for these things. So thank you all for showing up. I will see you all next one.
Rabid out.